Today on PewView, we're talking about Kimbers. Now, for those of you that just puked in your mouth a little bit, hear me out. Kimber, being the largest manufacturer in the world when it comes to the 1911s, finally just brought a 2011 to market. But before we get into this and where Kimber is going, we need to talk about where Kimber has been. Now, when you think Kimber, you think of a really cool 1911 that just doesn't work. Unfortunately, that has been the truth for quite some time now. When you buy a higher-end 1911 and spend a decent amount of money on it, you probably expect it to work, and Kimber's QC has just been dog shit. But I think there's a big misunderstanding when it comes to that. So let me share my theory when it comes to Kimber's quality control. Now, when you think of other companies like Les Baer, Wilson Combat, or Nighthawk, you know that they are super high quality parts, high tolerances. You also know that a trained gunsmith is hand fitting all of those parts. And you also know that the gunsmithing is literally half the cost. So they're taking a 50 gun and turning it into a or a gun because of the gunsmithing that goes into these. Kimber skips all that. They use really high quality parts, high tolerances. They just don't hand fit anything. It's all slapped together on an assembly line. But that cuts the cost directly in half. These things are only $50. And since I cannot say prices about anything on YouTube, that was probably blurred out. Just use your imagination. You'll figure it out. Put somewhere in their little numbers. Which brings me to my theory. There is got to be a reason why the Fuds love the Kimber 1911 and 45 so damn much, and I think I figured it out. Them old boys know how to gunsmith their own shit. They know how to utilize the gunsmithing stones and go in and get rid of all the burrs and polish everything up. So they take something that they know is going to be unreliable for $50 and make it extremely reliable. Not only is it reliable, these things are incredibly accurate. So them old boys definitely know what they're doing. So I understand the quality control issue. If you know what you're doing and if you can gunsmith your own 1911, these things are extremely good. But if you don't and you buy it, you're gonna be pretty disappointed. But on the other hand, you could just buy a Wilson Combat or a Les Baer and spend $50, or you could do it yourself and have a gun that's just as good, if not better. That's my theory. I hope somebody at least understood that. It makes sense in my brain. Now that we got my half-ass theory figured out, and like I said, I hope somebody at least followed along with that, let's move on to Kimber's new offering. Like this right here. This is the KDS-9, a double stack 9mm, kind of a 1911, kind of a 2011. I don't really know what you would call this, but this gun is awesome. This thing worked right out of the box. I had no issues with it. It shoots great, but it got people saying the same shit I was. Where the hell is our 2011? So now we finally got this. This is the 20K11 from Kimber, and it is sexy as hell. This is where I think we see Kimber finally make a comeback. Let's go run some drills with this thing and shoot the piss out of it, and then we'll give you a breakdown and give you my opinion towards the end of this video. All right, now I will say that I have already shot this prior to being out here today. As soon as I picked this thing up for my FFL, I came directly and ran like 5 mags through it. It's just a really sexy looking gun. I am obsessed with the look of this thing, and I just get excited about 2011s, to be honest. Tell me that isn't one of the coolest 2011s you've ever seen in your life. I love the color scheme. I love that this looks like a pissed off little dude on the magwell is awesome. Now, normally I am a polymer frame guy. I like the polymer grips more than I like the aluminum, but the fact that this aluminum grip and aluminum is the same price as a Staccato P is just awesome to me. It's got a better trigger, it's got higher dollar, more quality grip. In most people's opinions, the majority of people prefer steel or aluminum. It's just a really good gun. So let's run some drills with it. Let's shoot it a little bit. We'll let Dalton shoot it a little bit, and then I'll give you a breakdown of this thing, and then you kind of can already guess what my opinion is.
118.
Okay, I'll take that. You try her out.
Ready?
Yep.
206, all hits.
Not bad.
What do you think of that trigger?
I like the trigger. I personally like the length of it. It's a longer trigger than like most come from factory. I think it's awesome because I wiggle too much. I have a hard time finding a reset. So for me, like my wiggle brings it to the length that like the end of my finger. I can't over travel too much.
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Pull it.
Like
Crisp.
All right, let's do some transition drills, but I also want to touch base on that because this thing is very well balanced because there's less weight up front. Now, when it comes to not having a bull barrel or a full-length dust cover, there is some pros and there is some cons. I prefer a full-length dust cover. Not only do I like the look of it, I like a flashlight, a bull barrel, a full-length dust cover because I think the weight up front helps with return to zero. But other people may not have the same results. That's why some people like the chopped dust cover, not a bull barrel, and they want a heavier grip. They think less less weight up front means a better return to zero. To each their own, everybody's got a different grip. For me personally, I like the weight up front. But with that weight distribution being into your hand instead of at the tip of your barrel, it seems easier to swing. It feels like it's a little bit quicker. Dalton cannot do transitions to save his life. So with something like this, I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit easier for him to acquire his targets when he's swinging back and forth, but we'll find out. So what do you want to do? Same thing always, left, right, middle? All right, hit me before my fingers fall off.
Ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Fucking set me up.
Got him!
Ready? Stand by. 115. I mean, I'm not gonna need it, but I'm gonna pick it up, you know, just in case.
Shoot ready.
Yeah, so left, right, center.
Ready? Ready? Not gonna need it, but just in case. Got a 216.
All right, now we're gonna make it a little bit harder. We're at a further distance. We're gonna go far left, far right, then middle. Same drill, just smaller targets and a little bit more distant.
Ready? Yep. Stand by. So 179.
179. You got to slow down quite a bit on that far little 12-inch plate over there, but try her out.
Okay.
275. How'd it feel?
Good. I noticed that I was slowing down coming up to the target to make sure I hit him. Give me one more.
Good follow-up. 278.
All right, I'm gonna throw some lead and hope that my point shooting is on today.
We just slanging it.
Yeah. Ready?
All right. Ready? Stand by. 145.
You know, for a non-compensated gun, the return to zero is fucking fantastic. It's just a well-balanced pistol. What is this? 25 yards? 20?
Yeah, 20 yards.
Like a non-comped gun, that probably shouldn't be a thing at 20 yards. That's decent splits. I mean, obviously, if I pick it up, I'm going to rise above the target. But all right, so we got my initial reaction with this new Kimber. Now, Chris knows nothing about this.
I do not.
And what's your just overall opinion of Kimber as it stands right now?
Well, it depends on the gun, as always, but for the most part, they bring out okay guns for an okay price that work most of the time.
But as far as their reputation, what do you think about like reliability?
Well, that's one that
Yeah.
they don't have so much of, although we have had a couple that worked okay, but traditionally they're not extremely reliable.
Yeah, so I think their new quality control is kind of ramping up, and they're making new products, as we have seen in the past with, what was that gun called? The KS?
KDS-9.
KDS-9, there you go. We've had two of them, the railed
Yeah.
one and the non-railed one.
Like
I'm not
the
good with gun
KDS-9.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great gun. So go ahead, open that up.
Okay.
Blind reaction.
First off, I've been waiting to look at this for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh shit, the fucking bed.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't expect that at all. Well, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything. I kind of had the same reaction because I didn't know what I was expecting. I didn't even know it was going to be a 2011.
Aluminum frame, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Good stippling. Weird looking magwell, but it feels okay. Actually, the back of the magwell feels really good.
Yeah, I know.
Serrations look pretty good. I mean, they look
For sure.
different, which is nice. They're usable from the back and from the front. The rail looks good. I
Yeah.
like how they cut the rail, although I almost always prefer a full-length rail, but it is
Same.
pretty cool. It is pretty cool. The classic, I used to do this on my Glock frames, the deleting the part of the trigger guard there. That looks kind of neat. Feels good.
Yeah. I figured you would like that trigger more than I do because it's what you prefer.
Yeah, it's a little
I like
longer.
it closer to the frame myself.
Feels smooth. I like the chamber there. That looks very cool, actually. It feels really soft. You got the X300 on it, which helps a little.
Right.
But yeah, it feels smooth. You can tell when a 2011 is going to be smooth because you can kind of feel, if you have a lot of experience, you can feel by the recoil spring how it's going to return. A lot of times with shittier companies, they make the spring too heavy so you don't feel a lot of recoil coming back. But then when it goes forward, it rides down too much and it makes the feeling a little uncomfortable. It starts rocking a little bit in your hands. Whereas like what you really want is you want it to return back on the target. And it did. It did. How much is this? They tell you how much it is?
25.
Oh, I got you. Cool, cool. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. That's nice and shiny.
Reverse crown barrel. I mean, that's legit.
Dude, that's kind of what I've been saying. Like, if Kimber can actually figure out their quality control and be producing stuff like this from now on instead of their old shitty 2011 or 1911s that don't function.
Well, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah,
It looks
guys,
weird. It looks weird enough to be successful. I haven't shot left. Very nice.
All right, we're gonna have Nick, the pet electrician, try this thing out. He is currently handicapped from fighting a silverback gorilla. Try it out with your left hand.
At least this one's ambidextrous.
That's insane. You're gonna be fine if you get in a gunfight with your left hand. That's a solid looking fucking gun for Kimber.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a Kimber when I picked it up until I
Same,
saw the
dude.
logo.
Same.
No, it shoots great.
Yeah, with your left hand too.
I like it.
Typically when you do a 2011 video and try to give specs and break it down, they're all pretty much the same, but the 2K11 is kind of set apart. Let me show you why. So typically with a 1911 or a 2011, the extractor is inside of the slide, resulting in there's a lot of shit to clean up. They get gunked up and then you got to clean them out quite often, and it can also result in a lot of malfunctions. Typically what I see with my 2011s is I have to take out that extractor and bend it back or replace it. With the external extractors, you don't necessarily run into that as often, and there's a hell of a lot less to clean. So I do enjoy that. They also got their proprietary Kimber CNC machine. This thing is awesome. There's like no creep. You hit a wall, you got a crisp break, it's got a decent reset, and it's got a little pissed off guy on it, in case I didn't say that yet. Awesome trigger. The magwell looks like it's going to be super uncomfortable, but the way it tucks the bottom of my pinky and allows me to have a higher purchase, I really enjoy it. Obviously, it's not one of those giant bulky magwells that you see on people's competition pistols. I understand the need for it. I just don't personally like it. This is perfect. It's got the fluted barrel, and it's got the cam lock toolless guide rod, which really helps with this assembly. I think that's about all that sets it apart from the other 2011s. So there is some subtle differences, but as I mentioned before, you get the aluminum grip, you get the aluminum trigger shoe, the magwell, all the extra parts that would have cost you another $5 if you were to have purchased the P and tried to deck that out. This is coming in right at the same price point as a stock P, which I think is amazing. Also worth noting that these things are coming from the factory with Tag Precision sights. If you guys watch the video, you know that is my go-to for iron sights. Love the Tag sights because you can take out this little set screw right here. You can remove the fiber optic, put in whatever color you want, or just black it out. I love their adjustable rears. Obviously, the Target model is gonna come with the adjustable rear sight. This is their comp model, I assume. There's not a lot of info on these yet, but obviously I got the plate with an SRO on here because I prefer red dots. But if I'm running irons, it better be Tag Precision. I sounded like a fucking ad. They're just good sights. I also really enjoy the slide serrations and the windows. They are pretty damn sharp, but they also look pretty damn sharp. You know what I mean? That's just a sexy looking gun. I really enjoyed it. Again, there was zero malfunctions. We've been running this thing, running great, no lube. I haven't cleaned anything. They loosened up the tolerances like in comparison to their 1911, so that slight bit more slop. I'm not saying it's sloppy as fuck. The tolerances are still there, but it's less tight than their actual 1911. So I doubt I'm gonna run into as many malfunctions with this, but time will tell. We'll do a part 2 in a little bit. I'll run the out of this thing and then try to see where its breaking point is, so you guys can decide whether or not you want to purchase one.
It really feels like it's on bearings.
Yeah, it's super fucking smooth. The recoil impulse is awesome. Now, obviously, I'm wearing gloves, so it's a little bit harder to hold on to the pistol right now. I just needed an excuse, really. But the recoil is very mild. I can still see my red dot the whole time, and I can like hunker down and rip the trigger. Still be on target just as well. Been at about 15 yards, and I'm still able to get the majority of the hits just pulling the trigger wearing gloves. So. Now, for those of you that are going to say anything about it not locking up, those are the mags that I use. It is the follower that locks your slide on a 2011. Also, that's something we should talk about. Is there just regular staccato mags? You can run the, what are they, Checkmate mags, the Atlas mags, but you cannot run the MBX mag, which there's a good reason. So this aluminum grip kind of tapers up. Typically with 2011s, you can over-insert the magazine, and then this extractor right here will just go flying out the top. You can very easily break them by over-inserting inserting your mag. You cannot do that with a Kimber. They tapered this aluminum grip to make sure it stops before it hits the extractor. But the way the MBX mags are, they don't have that taper, so they just get stuck up in there. You can run literally any other mag, just unfortunately not the MBX, which kind of sucks. I do like the MBX mags, but whatever. I got more of these, so I'm not too upset about it. I think that is an awesome feature. Oh, wait. We forgot about the 2011 test. Got to see if you can air rack it. Oh, yeah. Good to go. I'm sure as time goes on, there will be more in-depth reviews of these things. I think they're going to be popular because of the price point, because of the functionality, and of course, because of the way these things look. So be looking for that if you want a more in-depth review. If you want one of these things for yourself, go hit that link in the description below and pick yourself up a collectible. We appreciate the support, but it is cold as hell out here, and I'm going home. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hold on a minute. This thing kind of fucked. That be some shit. About the only Kimber in existence, chambered in 45, that fucking runs. That was the first mag I've ever shot through this. I just bought this at Shields at about 10 a.m. this morning. This is mag number 2. Huh. The safety has like no detent going up, so you just barely fucking push it. And now you're no longer, there's no detent. Like it doesn't click up. It's not audible. You can't feel it. Just on a recoil, it pushed up a little bit. But I mean, it's fucking running. I'm gonna stop talking shit about Kimber. I fucking love this thing.